Hi, my name is Tania. Welcome to my channel. I am 29. No. Hi, my name is Tania. Welcome back to my channel. We're going to give a little bit of a testimony on my journey with God today. I am a baby in Christ, if you could say that. I have been a granddaughter to a preacher. My life, he recently passed back in 2019 before the pandemic, but I have always had belief that God was real, and now I am doing the work myself. I'm not doing the work that my grandparents instilled in me. I'm not doing the work that my mom instilled in me with going to church and stuff like that. I am building a relationship with God all on my own, and I'm excited. So I just wanted to give a bit of my testimony. This is just a start. This is not anything that has been set in stone. I just want to talk about, well, it's not the end, as I should say. It's not the end of my testimony. It's just how things are going at this moment. Well, I wanted to talk about, well, God wanted me to talk about quitting my job. Yeah. So so to start off, I used to live in Virginia, and well, I'm from New Jersey. I'm born and raised in Newark, New Jersey. Before the pandemic, I moved down to Virginia, just to get a fresh start from everything. And then everything, there was a lot going on, y'all know, pandemic. And so I moved down to Virginia. Cost of living cheap, so cheap. I ended up getting a work from home job for a medical company to make medication for cancer patients. So I was verifying the applications from the doctors and the patients, because the medication can cause birth defects. So we wanted to make sure the doctor is making sure the patient is aware of the defects with taking this medication. If you have intercourse, you need that protected intercourse. Basically, they wanted to make sure that the patient knew, and they signed off saying that they know. Because if you have a baby, you ain't about to sue us, because we told you this medication can cause birth defects. Okay, so I was verifying those applications for that job. I had that job in Virginia. It was a wonderful job to have in Virginia due to that amount of income, well, the cost of living in Virginia. But I was going through a few things within the relationship with my daughter's father, and I started I fell into postpartum after I had her, and I don't think it probably was because of the relationship that I was in, not really per se her or the pregnancy experience. It was just the surrounding environment. I fell into depression. I started speaking to a therapist. The state helped me get a therapist, because we just got to this video. I was having suicidal thoughts. Again, I really do believe it's because of the relationship. I was having suicidal thoughts. I was trying to look for like a way out. Not that I wanted to like leave Earth or leave my kids, but I just knew that if I was to leave my kids, they would be okay. Now I didn't want to get into all this because this ain't, but it correlates. But he's a wonderful dad, so I already knew that my daughter was going to be good. I already knew that. And then knew my son was going to be good. And I have 2 kids. One is, my daughter is 2, my son is 7. 2 different dads, different video for another time. God wants me to talk on that too. No, but that's something different. But anyway, I was having suicidal thoughts. God, well, the state appointed me to a therapist. Talked to my therapist. I don't think that she was helping me much. I don't think that I was in sync with that therapist. But, you know, the state gave you what the state gave you. So that's what I had. I still talk to her. I talked to her. But something was nudging me to talk to God. Talk to her. I was talking to her. It wasn't working. I mean, it was kind of working because I was getting my feelings out. But it wasn't giving me that satisfaction. Like, it wasn't giving me, I no longer had, well, no, I'll get that to the God. My suicidal thoughts left once I started getting back into my Bible. I started journaling, actually. I started talking to God. I was journaling every single day. And I was just breaking down, you know, how I felt about, you know, my life and how it's not anything that I expected it to be. And he was like, you need to move. And I'm like, I have about 4 more months in this lease. And you want me to move all the way back to New Jersey? First of all, okay, I have 4 more months in this lease. You want to move all the way back to New Jersey? How am I going to get out this lease? I have no money to pay for an early termination fee. So how am I going to do that? So then that's when I trusted God. I said, okay, this is what you want me to do. I gave my notice in. And by the grace of God, I did not have to pay early termination fee. So praise him for that. And I was able to move. But when I moved up here, I didn't really have nowhere to go. So me and my kids, we were at my sister's apartment until we got into our own apartment. It was like I had nothing planned. I had nothing figured out. I just knew that this is what God wanted me to do, so I'm gonna do it. He moved back up here, and God was pointing me to this particular apartment that he wanted me to move to. I knew he wanted me to move to. I knew he wanted me to move here. And I was still within the relationship with my daughter's father. And he was just talking, it's so expensive there. It's just so expensive. I'm like, this is New Jersey, everything's so expensive. So, long story short, I found something different. I found something that was a little bit less expensive than the apartment that God was telling me to go to. Just a little bit. And I guess, you know, he was all right, we could do that. So we moved in to that apartment. That's another situation for another day. But we moved into that apartment. It was sucked. And then God was able to, you know, I listened to him and he moved us into this apartment. And the apartment that I'm in now. The apartment that I'm in now is the most expensive I had to pay in rent, like, ever. And then it's like, it's just so expensive. It's the most I had to pay ever. And then when we first got the apartment, I was only making the little bit of money that I had from the job that I was in Virginia. Mind you, God was telling me to quit this job before we moved up here. But it's like I needed something, so I held on to it. I was only working at that job. It was not making enough for, you know, this apartment or whatever. But I'm literally a month after we moved in, God blessed me with a second job. So I was working 2 jobs. I was working 2 jobs, but the nudge of quit your job, quit your job, quit your job, quit your job, quit your job was still there. So I'm like, okay, he want me to quit that job. He been telling me to quit that job. I'm still nervous to quit that job because this rent is very expensive and I need something. You know, I need something. So with me working 2 jobs, I was working them simultaneously. My first job that I had since Virginia, it was a split shift. It was 4 hours in the morning, 4 hours in the afternoon. My second job, 9 to 6. So essentially, I was working both of those jobs simultaneously for 6 hours out of the day. Still 12-hour shifts, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. But 6 of those 12 hours, I was working both jobs simultaneously, and it became very overwhelming because I had to work both of those jobs to sustain this apartment. Then I had to be a mom at the same time. So it was just a lot that was going on, and eventually I became fed up. And then the job that I had, the first job since Virginia, I ended up going on a PIP, and it became very annoying, very naggy. My supervisor actually quit that job, and after she quit that job, everything went downhill. Everything went downhill. They started saying that, oh, we want everybody to be cross-trained on every single thing and customer service, and it's like, y'all ain't paying me for that. And when I told y'all that I was moving, y'all don't even want to raise my pay to be able to, even the minimum wage for this particular state I'm in now, you couldn't even raise it to that minimum wage. So it was like, whatever. And then I don't know, I just stopped caring about the job, to be honest. And I was like putting it on the back burner. I was focusing on a new job that was paying more money rather than focusing on that job. I mean, I was still getting my work done, but it wasn't getting it to the standards, getting it done to the standards of, you know, the company. So I ended up going on a PIP. And for who don't know what a PIP is, it's basically like they put you on a plan with the supervisor to help you increase your productivity at the company. They put me on a PIP, but even then, so it was still so naggy. And then they got into a point to where when I first got the job, it was strictly no phones. I just had to verify the applications, and that was it. And then with my supervisor leaving and talking about you want to cross-train everybody, they then put us on the phone. So I'm like, you now want me to go on the phone, but you're not paying me no money. And then it was new people that came in, new hires that came in. And new hire was, because we don't have, our supervisor left, they had 3 supervisors to do her one job. And those 3 supervisors didn't know what to do. They had no idea on what to do for that particular job. So they wanted us who knew what to do to help the newbies that was coming in. And then mind you, we had about 3 team leads who, you know, they knew more than us, and then they were able to help, you know, them. But it's like, why wasn't those 3 managers trained on what we do? Why don't you have the team leads help them? Like, you already have me doing a whole bunch of different stuff. Now, since you want to cross-train everybody, no, I'm not doing it. I'm sorry. It's not in my job description. I'm not a team lead. I'm not a manager. So, no, I'm not helping them. Especially since you don't want to pay me no more money. No. So, then, so within that situation, it was very overwhelming trying to sustain both of those jobs. So eventually I'm like, God wanted me to quit this job anyway, so I'm just gonna go ahead and quit. In November of 2024, I actually ended up quitting that job. My manager was like, well, I want to have like a one-on-one with you. I said no. here's my resignation letter, effective immediately. Send me some information or some labels so I can return this equipment to you. I don't want nothing to do with y'all no more. So I quit then and there. So I felt a little bit relieved. It was quite an adjustment to try to sustain this apartment and everything, and food and, you know, everything for the kids off of one income now. But, you know, I was in my Bible, I was in the sermons, I was, you know, trusting, building my relationship and trust with God. So I'm like, okay, he blessed me with this apartment. When we first moved in this apartment, he said that he was going to help me sustain this apartment. So with me now not having that job, I'm just going to trust in him that he will give me the financial education to budget my money properly and help me. And that's what he's been doing, and I'm grateful for that. So I'm doing this one job. I'm like, okay, God wanted me to quit this job. I'm eventually now being obedient to quit that job. I did it. But then I was talking to him about going back to school. And I was like, yeah, I want to go back to school. I wanted to do my culinary because that's what I feel like, that's the gift that God blessed me with. And I haven't really been into that because I've been trying to figure out how to survive for real. So he was like, okay, you want to go to culinary school, so you got to register for the classes. And I was lollygagging on that situation until one of my neighbors, who I'm really cool with, I saw her in the elevator, and she was like, oh, I was going downstairs to get my nephew off of the bus, and she was like, oh, you're going downstairs to get the kids? I was like, yeah. She was like, yeah, I wish I was like them. I wish I was able to be in school all day and not having to work. And I'm like, what? And I was like, you know what, I was talking to God about that too. But I was saying, like, God, why did you have them fire me? So at least I'll be able to be on unemployment. And then the job that I had, like the second job that I had, I felt like it was temporary because in the offer letter it said up until the client decides that, you know, the project is finished. So I felt as though it was going to be temporary regardless. So I'm like, all right, so just have them fire me so I could go collect unemployment, and then I'm able to still go to school full time. Right? So that's the conversation that I think that I'm having with God, but he ain't having that conversation with me. So I'm like, yeah, I was just telling her about it or whatever. And then that Friday, I think I was talking to her on Wednesday, and that Friday I ended up going to enroll for my classes. So I'm like, okay, I'm listening to you. You told me to enroll in these classes. Now had them fire me. No, he was like, quit. I said, what? Sir, these bills gotta get paid. How they gonna get paid? He was like, ye of little faith. Literally. So I'm like, quit. So I'm like, I don't know, maybe that's my mind. Maybe that's me that's telling me to quit. Maybe that's not God that's telling me to quit. So then one day I was downstairs doing laundry in the basement, and I was coming back upstairs from doing laundry, and it was a guy that had his child on his shoulders and a dog. And there was this woman with her two daughters that was getting off of the elevator while they was trying to go into the elevator. And the daughter was scared of the dog. And then her mother was like, come on, let's go. And then like moments before that, I was talking to God in my head, and he was like, so about quitting this job. I was like, I hear you, okay. And then he had me walk into that conversation to where the mom was like, was telling her daughter, come on, let's go. And she was like, no, I'm scared, the dog. And her mom was like, it's okay, you can do hard things. I was like, I hear you talking, I understand. You wanted me to understand that it was not my subconscious that was telling me to do this. You was telling me to do this. It's crazy how God just he have you encounter things like that for a confirmation. Even my neighbor in the elevator talking about going to school full time. Confirmation of God telling me that yes, it's time to go to school. Bro, like what? Okay. So, after I heard that, I was like, okay, God is telling me to quit my job. Still scared. Scary. When I say scary, scary. I'm like, how these bills are gonna get paid? How is I'm gonna be able to, you know, feed my kids? Like, I don't want to be homeless because I was already sleeping on the couch before you told me to move in here. I don't want to go back to sleeping on the couch. Like, I don't want to lose this apartment that you have blessed me with. And me thinking that the unemployment would be the solution to you know, being able to go to school full time. I always talked about trying to do YouTube, and he was basically telling me that you cannot work this job, go to school, do YouTube, and be a mom all at the same time. Thank you. You know how when thank you, God. God, the Bible says that God will never give you too much, that, you know, God will only give you as much as he knows that you can handle. And he was telling me that you are not able to handle all of those things. So you, in order for you to do what you love to do, to fulfill the gifts and passions that I have bestowed in you, you have to let some things go. So quit that job. And I'm still like, these bills gotta get paid. These kids that you trust me with have to get fed, have to get clothed, need to have a roof over their head. But God is like, just trust me. Put ye up little faith. Put your faith in me. So, after that situation, that was back in December, and God was like, the sun is moving, it's getting dark. Okay, so that was back in December when I had that situation with the girl in the elevator, and God said you should not go into 2025 with this still having this job. And you know what I did? Kept the job. I kept the job. And still just scary, like so scared, like so nervous to, you know, be obedient and step in to having that faith and that trust, because I don't know how these bills are gonna get paid, to be honest with you. But it was still just a pulling, you need to quit the job, you need to quit this job, you need to quit this job. And I'm like, okay. So everything came together with my school. I'm still waiting on financial aid, so hopefully by next week when I start school, everything will be finalized. But I was able to register in my classes. I'm going to go pick up my textbooks today, and it's like, okay, we could do this. But it's again, how these bills want to get paid. So I was watching this testimony on Monday. I was watching this testimony, the 13th. I was watching this testimony of this woman who she has a child, and she said that she lost her job, and she kept applying to jobs, kept applying to jobs, kept applying to jobs. Nothing was coming through. And then God told her to pick up a camera and start filming YouTube videos, prophetic words, or like encouraging people about, you know, God, and having her develop a ministry. And she said that I was the best decision that she ever made, her being obedient and her just listening to God. She now is not worried about how her bill's gonna be paid. And I believe that nudged me or pushed me further to be like, okay, he did that for her. so he could do it for me. You not telling me to quit my job for no reason. And I don't believe that you're not going to help me if you're telling me to do something. Because it's like, why would you bless me with this apartment just for me to lose it? I mean, even if I do lose it, it's because of God, and he wanted me to go somewhere else. So I'm trusting in that a lot more now. So that was on Monday the 13th, and as soon as I finished watching that video, I googled resignation letters, and I put my resignation letter in. I said that my last day is going to be on the 31st, and I'm going to invest my time into doing what I love to do and growing a closer connection with God. The days that I don't have school or class, well, every day, you know, I'm dedicated to reading my Bible, but you know, the days that I don't have school or class, I can now hone in and focus on worship, Bible study, actually trying to understand, trying to hear God, and you know, grow a closer connection to him. So that's what I'm planning on doing. And then with that being said, hopefully y'all stayed until the end of this video, but this is the start of a new series. Well, my first series for real. And it's called God Made Me, to where I'm going to be documenting my life, documenting my relationship with God, and seeing how he's going to take me throughout this year. And the series is going to be called God Made Me. So hope you guys stick around. I'm trusting God and everything. It's going to be a whirlwind, but we're going to get through this. And I hope that this series is going to be inspiration to do what God said you to do. God made you. He made me. And he making me do those things right now. So thank you so much for watching this video. Have a good day.